mispronouncing the name. Shout out to Valda Nord, if that's how you say her name. What highly masculine men value in women? Good conversation, good title. Let's see what Mrs. Valda have to say. Let's get into it.
From my grandma's garden. They're so beautiful. Ooh, they smell amazing. Bonjour
Lovely.
mes beautés, je suis de retour.
Oh, I had a feeling she was French. Okay, bonjour, bonjour, madame, bonjour.
So now having dated, a few guys, not a lot, I'm not really out here like that. And there's nothing wrong being out here like that
It's something wrong.
unless you are, opening up your legs, no Brazilian wax. I've gathered some data that I believe will be useful to all of you ladies. So there is one common factor that I've noticed in masculine men, okay? And that common factor has to do with value. It has to do with what women believe that masculine man, which is a popular type, should I say, that women search in the dating scene, value when they don't. And that is career. When talking to masculine men, let's say on first dates and stuff, I've noticed the difference between masculine men and feminine men. Listen, when I've gone on dates with feminine men, they'll ask me about, the regular, about like work, school, hobbies, definitely pass, try to sneak some in. Are you a freak? Are you not? And that's why I say first date.
But yo, with conversation, I feel like if you if you have to ask her all these things, I feel like that should come so natural conversation, right? Like from going from like just basic from a regular conversation from where it's like, okay, what are some things you like to do? It's like it's escalate to her telling you about like shit that happened to her when she was a young girl. I'm saying like that's how conversation is supposed to flow. I'm not like scripting no conversation. No, I'm not scripting some questions to ask. I'm just not doing that. Because when I do that, then the conversation it's skewed and it go all over the place. Then I lose control over it. But it should flow in a way where it's like she telling you stuff you don't even have to ask for. And that's the type of conversation I want to have with a young lady. If we ever having conversation, especially FaceTime or in person, especially in person. But you should never force conversation that try to just question about things. You should just allow her to speak and just freely speak to you and be okay.
Because some of them I don't see them later now. But when it came to going on a first date with masculine men, I've noticed that, they'll ask about the regular too. But one thing that they don't keep asking about is work. They'll ask, do you work? Yes. Okay, nice. Most of them didn't ask me where I worked. No, they didn't care. Most of them surely didn't ask me how much I made. Couldn't care less. But what I could see that they wanted to know more about is my hobbies, is what I like to do for fun. Okay? And now I'm not talking about all masculine men because I know that people have subjective experiences.
Absolutely.
Um, but at least with the masculine men that I've gone on dates with, meaning that, we were talking a little bit, I'm like, hey, maybe we're on the same page, but listen, I guess we were not. Okay, so they did go through like some of the filters now. I've noticed that, yeah, instead of them valuing my career, they valued my hobbies and what I like to do.
Because the woman having a career actually puts stress on her, right? So that's why he not constantly but work because he knows in the future in the long run it would not do good for her. You have overstanding of okay that will stress the woman out, and when the woman is stressed she cannot be a good person, she cannot be a good wife, she cannot be a good girlfriend, she cannot be a good mother. So if she in a place where she's enjoying herself, therefore she will get the best out of her. She would be the best person for me, the best woman for me. So that's why he's not constantly fixated on always work, work, work versus the feminine God. He putting all the pressure on the woman. Just the conversation he's having with her is just weighing down on her. Just like she said, she only have one date with them and never see them again. Versus the masculine guy, he focus on the important things that's gonna keep her in the feminine in her feminine energy. And that's the thing that's is important. Just like she's telling you. She's basically giving you the game. But you have to listen and take notes. Let's continue.
for fun. Because I do feel like masculine men just want a happy and playful and joyful woman by their side. Feminine men are usually not really ready for that. They're still going through identity crises. They're going through a lot of emotions because they have so much trauma.
And bro, that's such a good. That's what she just said was so good. Why? Because society you keep telling young men to be emotional. Do you not see, bro? Not even women respect this shit, bro. They say, oh, but it's only her majority of women do not respect emotional men. Where do you get that from? All this crying and brother, the woman's supposed to be acting like that. As a man, there's no reason why you were so feminine. There's no reason why you're so in your feminine. And you cannot realize, okay, I'm acting like a woman. Let me stop. All the complaining, all the stop. That is not in your nature to do that. Right? And then they'll wonder why the woman don't want to be with them. Or why the woman call them sassy. Oh, you're just so sassy. You wonder why.
And it's now that they want to do the work when you have come into their life and inspired healing, but after they're trying to take the healing from you and apply it to them, when that it doesn't work like that. Okay, it doesn't work like that. So anyways, to kind of jump back, masculine men just want you to have a good time and will provide for that good time. Feminine men want you to have a good time because you are their savior, right? Because they were suffering before they met you, because you were the light of hope. Okay, but
Well, the amount of young ladies I've spoken to just have this goof conversation. With the amount of times they tell me like some men act and it's like, bro, this shit is so it is so worrying to me. And I'm like, and it's not just young men only, bro. Some like older men who could be like close to be my dad. And I'm like, damn, he act like that? It's like, yeah. And I wouldn't say exactly what it is, but it's just like I'll say one of it, but the emotional part of it is no level of leadership, no level of stoicism. There's none of it. I'm not saying you cannot show emotion. Yes, you can show emotion. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion. We all, matter of fact, we do have emotion as men, but showing it so much in such a weak way will not benefit you at all. Complaining, crying, not doing the things you have to do. Right? That's the negative side of it. But if I care for a woman just like the masculine man, yes, I would see, okay, well, when she's happy, she's at the best. So why would I want to put so much stress on her that she's not happy? So I cannot get her best. That's the difference between two men and the men who realize, the men who understand versus the men who don't. Gotta take notes for this.
listen, you are not Angel Gabriel that showed up. And now, was it Gabriel or was it Michael? I think it was Gabriel that showed up for Joseph and Mary. But I could be wrong. But you know what I'm saying? You're not Angel Gabriel now. So you may be walked into his life because God utilized you to send a message, and for you to, start taking action on the healing journey and seek God for real this time. But you are not here to stay for the long run in most cases. That's the thing. A lot of women believe to be a permanent psychology intern. You are not her.
Oh, listen, your girl is not your mother. She is not your mother. Okay, if you have a bad relationship with your mom, go fix that. And that in itself will change, will just better your relationship. Then the love you get from your mother, that's the love you actually need from a woman. That's the only woman that would actually love you, no matter how bad how bad you are in life, how down bad or how high up you are in life. That's the only woman that would genuinely love you from deep within her heart. So if you over here trying to get a girlfriend and or trying to get a wife and trying to have her treat you like, like she's your mom, that just not it's not gonna work. I've seen plenty of times go down the drain. In school, even outside of school, when I left school, I've seen in some relationships, it's like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I just don't see it working. The woman is not your mother. But vice versa, as a man, I feel like you have to kind of be a dad for the woman. Yes, it is a double standard. I might be wrong, but from what I've seen and my experience, I feel like you have to be a dad for her. A kind of like a male role model for the woman. But that's just my thoughts, though. That's
Understood? Listen, you're not getting paid. Even interns get paid, so you are actually working at the shelter for volunteering hours. And there's nothing wrong with working at the shelter now, unless you are in a relationship that you are needing reciprocity, reciprocity, reciprocity. You know what I mean.
I
You
know
are
what you
needing
mean.
of
I know what
that.
you mean.
So personally, as a feminine woman, if I go out with a man and he keeps on insisting about my job, about my career, about how much I make, about where I live, about what car I drive, about anything that has to do with financials, I see that like a big red flag, and most of the times I won't go on a second date with that guy. Because listen, I assigned the job of protecting and providing to you. Understood? Me, I just transform what you give me. Meaning, I take your CO2, polluted air, and transform it into oxygen so that you can breathe.
Absolutely.
Understood? So that I can support you in the midst of your hardships.
And one thing, I'm gonna say it. I feel like feminism have messed up the whole game for both men and women, because some men give in to this feminism nonsense, which is actually bullshit. It's not helping women in any way. It will never benefit women. I just don't see it benefiting women at all. So with that, I feel like that's why we have so much men asking women about stuff, the shit she talking about. That's exactly why we have these feminine men who doing stuff like that, right? That's exactly why, right? But when you have the feminist movement telling women, oh, you don't need a man. Why? We don't need a man. What is this? Why? We need each other. A man need a woman need a man. We definitely need each other. So when you say we don't need each other, how are we gonna reproduce? The masculine need the feminine the same way the feminine need the masculine. That is how we move forward for years before you and I were born. That's how we get here today. By understanding the dynamic between men and women, the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine, the difference between the logic and the emotion. That's how we got where we are today. But now we want to confuse it and intertwine it when it doesn't work like that. It work alongside each other. It's not supposed to tangle with each other, because then we have a misunderstanding. Versus if we work alongside each other, right? We both have our lanes and we play our roles. That's what's gonna better society. And in the past few years, we've seen this nonsense, this garbage being pushed. When is this? This doesn't make any sense. But I'm hoping for the people who watch this video learn something from it. Because it is very important for you to learn stuff like that, especially as a man.
without enabling you to give up on your hardships. Understood? That is my job.
So shout out to her though, man. She was real nice and cool. I feel like the way she broke it down was a good way. And shout out to Valda. Yeah, that was the name, Valda. Shout out to her.